Should I tell my girlfriend that other women are hitting on me?
Well, if you are, it'd be in a playful way. It would be better if you're out in public and she sees women hitting on you and you can tease her about it in a fun way. But every time a girl hits on you, you shouldn't feel like she's your priest and you got to confess everything to her. I mean, it really should be, if you love and value yourself, it should be getting noticed if you're in shape and you're fit. When you consider that 74% of all Americans are either overweight or they're obese. So if you're fit and you're in shape and you wear nice fitting clothes, you're going to get looked at because most people are, quite frankly, not in good shape. So it's a good thing. It's all a good thing. But don't feel like you got to confess everything as if you did something wrong.
Sometimes I don't think some guys would be confessing. I think it was just like some people would be like, oh, this person did this or this person like did that. I think that's rude to like say, well, I mean, it's nice, thank you for another person hitting on my man, woman, or whoever. Thank you. I know I have good taste, but I mean, I don't want to hear about it all the time.
Yeah, you don't want to rub it in her face.
Yeah, I would feel a certain way if that happened to me. Like, would I feel, yeah, would I feel a certain way? Yeah, absolutely. But I think what would really matter the most is, say, if the girl is hitting on my boyfriend, it's one thing that he just like, oh, whatever. And then it's another, say, that she hits on him and then he actually reciprocates something back. Because then I would say that's like a really bad sign. So I would want to trust that if a girl were to hit on my man, that he wouldn't reciprocate something back.
Yeah, what I see a lot of is because most of my audience, probably 90% of it on most of the platform, 85, 90% is guys. And so what I typically see in their comments or their questions about that is that even though they're in a relationship, their girlfriend kind of acts like they're single by, oh, here's my Instagram, or sometimes they're giving out their phone number to these guys. Like, maybe she's a bartender and becomes friendly with this dude that's always coming in there. It's always obviously at the hots, and then now she's giving out her phone number to a dude that she knows likes her. And those are just kind of the actions of a woman that doesn't really see. If she's in a relationship, she shouldn't be doing things like that any more than a married woman is giving out her phone number for dudes that are asking her out for drinks or dinner or whatever. If you're in a relationship, you're not inviting the attention. You're thanking them for their interests, but at the end of the day, letting them know you're married or you're in a relationship, you have a girlfriend, whatever. That's the right thing to do. And people that don't really value the loyalty and monogamy, they'll do those things and think it's not a big deal. But if you're in a relationship with somebody and they're giving out their number or they're inviting the attention, you got to set a boundary with that. You got to let them know that they shouldn't be acting like they're single. If you're in a relationship, you're not giving out your phone number to members of the opposite sex that are hitting on you. You just don't do those kinds of things ever, because you wouldn't want your significant other to think that something's going on. And plus, you don't want that person you're giving the contact information to think that you're open to it, because that's what happens. If a girl is in a relationship or married and she gives her number to some dude that's hitting on her, that guy's thinking, I got a chance. And that women that do that typically end up cheating. So that's the behavior of somebody that doesn't really value loyalty. I had a conversation with a client the other night. Same kind of thing that was going on was that his girlfriend was inviting attention from other dudes that were thirsty, and she's naively thinking, oh, he really just wants to be your friend.
I think what's also messed up too is that there's actually people out there that say you have a significant other and that person hits on you, and then if you were to tell them that you have a significant other, they just don't care, because like their mentality is like, how's that gonna stop me? And it's like, that's kind of messed up.
You got to say, I'm sorry, but I appreciate the interest. It's not appropriate for you to just continue hitting on me.
Yeah.
That's harassment.
Yeah.
At this point, when you say no and
they
keep going at it, that's harassment.
Yeah.
What about this? Because I've had this like conversation before, but what if the girl, your girlfriend, is like an influencer, like she has a bunch of followers, like her social media is like 20K or 50K or whatever, and she rejected the guy multiple times. And, you know, like Jocelyne said, they don't care. They'll be like, oh, like, oh, you have a boyfriend, but we could just be friends, you know? And even though the girl keeps saying no, 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 she finally gives in and she's like, okay, here's my social media. Would it be different since she's an influencer and she has lots of following?
No, because
No.
he can already follow her if he already knows her name. He can already do that. He probably already has looked at her stuff multiple different times.
No, but not like that kind of like social media.
So
not
she's
like
making it
content.
easier for him to contact her or DM her,
No, a way to just like get rid of him.
She
you
should
know?
just, is it,
Other
he's
than
talking to her
blocking?
in
Other than
person?
like, obviously he could follow her. That's just gonna add more.
You can mute him, and then you'll never see anything he says.
Yeah,
Yeah,
would-
exactly. Like
I would just block him or mute him. If it's in person, then that's a different type of story. You need to follow that up with something else.
Yeah, but as an influencer, you're not obligated to answer that person back either.
and you're not even gonna if you're an influencer and you have a lot of followers, like you're never gonna notice that person messaging you,
Right.
liking your stuff because you have so many followers that it's just adding more to that, you know?
That was like, I was telling this story the other day. I had that one person that messaged me for at least 7 years, never responded, but he would always be like, hey, hi, can I get your number? How you doing? Da-da-da-da, happy birthday. For 7 years, like 1,000,000 and something messages, and I never messaged him back. I just, it's just, so you got to ignore that stuff. Like, if you're not interested and it seems, of course you don't want to be mean, just don't say anything, because that person, they're still going to like you because they still want to see you. They're still going to follow you or whatever it is. You don't have to keep in touch with the person.
Yeah, the bottom line is if you're in a relationship, you're not behaving like you're single. If you're taken, you're letting the other person know that you're taken, and you're not giving out your number, you're not giving out your social media, you're not doing any of that stuff, because the moment a woman gives out that kind of contact information, the guy is thinking, now I got a chance, versus, hey, I have a boyfriend, I'm married, sorry, I'm, my social media is personal, I don't share that with anybody except friends or family or whatever. So those are character things that in the vetting process when you're dating, you're looking for. Do they set that boundary with other people? And if they don't, you have to set the boundary with them. If you're in a monogamous relationship and they're not behaving in a way that communicates that to you, to themselves, and to the world that they're in a relationship, then you got to do something about that. You got to have a talk with them, and those kinds of talks are better to have like when you're laying naked in each other's arms after you just had sex. It's like one of the best times to bring up casually something that's been bothering you, especially if you've given her multiple orgasms. She should be putty in your hands at that point. She'll be much more open to having a discussion versus trying to have that conversation when you're mad through text or through the phone or when you first show up for a date or whatever. You got to think how to tactfully bring up things strategically so it's easier to get your point across without any butthurt feelings, and she understands where you're coming from. Because some women, they don't know any better. Maybe the father never taught them these things, that you shouldn't be giving out phone numbers because you don't want to be mean to the person. You want to be nice. You don't want to reject them in person, but giving out your phone number even when you told them that you're in a relationship, or giving them your social media, because then you're giving the guy hope. It's inviting attention you shouldn't be.
And then it causes a problem between you and your significant other that you don't want. And whether you thought it was, it was meaningless to you, it wasn't to them. So, and it just causes conflict.
Yeah, them trying to be very sly and stuff like that is just really selfish. It's really selfish.
Trying to fly under the radar. Oh, I'm just interested in being friends. Oh, I'm just interested in swapping yoga routines.
But there's a lot of other single women out there. Why don't they go for them? Like, make it make sense.
Well, guys get that one-itis. I mean, the reality is, how often do any of us meet somebody that knocks our socks off, or we're like, oh, and then just talking to them, it feels effortless, like you've known them forever. So whether it's a guy or a girl, and they meet somebody and they really like that person, they want to shoot their shot in the best way possible. And when men see movies and TV that you basically just act like a stalker and you persist, then eventually you'll win the girl over. then guys don't get the hint when a girl's like, hey, I'm taking her. I remember when I was growing up, there was a woman that was a television reporter, and she'd been with her husband at that point, I don't know, 10, 15 years or whatever. And she had moved all over the country as, because in the news business, you have your contracts for 2 to 5 years, 3 to 5 years, whatever it happens to be. And then when that's up, if the station's not offering you enough, and then another station offers you more, you pick up, you move, hope, you move up the ladder to a bigger station, bigger network, more pay, that kind of thing. And so as she moved around, this guy that was stalking her would just like, he would up and move and get a job in her city, and he was like, even though she was married, he was like, she should be mine, and I'm the best person to be in a relationship with her. And I don't know if it's 60 Minutes or somebody was interviewing the guy that was stalking her, and this guy had always it was like, she's married. It's like, why are you moving around the country? And the guy was so insistent that he's the right person for her. It's like he didn't care. I mean, I think she had restraining orders against the dude, but he just kind of followed her around, thinking that at some point he's, that's like an extreme case, but that he's going to get his chance and he's entitled to it. As if he's going to just impose his will on her and wear her down. I mean, that's like an extreme case of that, but guys think that way. I see it in the comments. Guys making comments about you girls that they're going to eventually meet you and take you out on a date or whatever, like as if they're Babe Ruth calling their shot. It's like, come on, man. It's like, that's not how it works. You can be confident, but that's ridiculous.